Officials believe in wildfires in Los Angeles. Firefighters are making some progress containing the flames that first erupted last Tuesday.
But some more gusty winds are on the way. So here's where things stand right now. The death toll continues to rise. Now it's 6.
From the fires continue to come in, Boston is reaching out to help.
And the Eye Opener's Brianna Borghi is live in Charlestown with a fundraiser for the victims of the LA wildfires. Good morning, Brianna.
Good morning, Rondella and Jen. We may be 3,000 miles away from these fires, but people here in Massachusetts are stepping up and finding ways to raise funds. Now, Charlestown Restaurant Monument right here behind me, they have created a charity drink called the Sunset Spritz. A portion of the money made from each of these drinks will go to the California Community Foundation Wildlife Recovery Fund. The general manager here says it's a priority to help people in need, and people coming to Boston from Los Angeles say it is greatly appreciated.
With the devastating fires in Los Angeles.
One person dead and 2 others.
Tomorrow for a Beverly man accused of making online threats against Jewish people. A judge will determine if
a Cape Air plane was forced to land with only one working engine. Our crews were there when the plane touched down on Saturday.
Party chair Amy Carnevale has won re-election. Carnevale defeated a single challenger on Saturday to win her second term.
Ed Flynn will not run against Mayor Michelle Wu. That's according to reports from the Boston Globe and the
space.
The new rocket set to launch, the venture that took nearly
over. How to make sure the ice is safe. Kellyanne.
We've certainly seen some cold temperatures here, and we're feeling that this morning, but a little warm up before our next blast of cold air. A look at how warm we'll get, plus the timeline for some snow showers passing through this week.
Going above and beyond, whether on the clock or off, this couple and their 2 therapy dogs respond to the sex could have some competition nearly 15 years after Jeff Bezos founded Blue Origin.
South are dealing with some closures and dangerous road conditions after a historic snowstorm. Parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas also saw close to or above a foot. Memphis, Tennessee recorded 7.5 inches Friday. That's the most snow seen in a single day there in the past 4 decades. Nashville also blanketed.
My wife's work got canceled and daycare got canceled, so full day of parents and sledding and hanging out and hot chocolate, and thankfully we live close enough to a big hill.
That sounds like fun, but not so fun. The storm canceling thousands of flights across the country and causing power outages. And the chaos isn't over yet. Colder air moves in next week with temperatures plunging.
Snow also swept across Massachusetts yesterday, creating slippery conditions for drivers in some spots. But of course, many of you made the most of it. On Chandler Pond in Brighton, residents shoveling multiple outdoor rinks to get out and skate on a snowy Saturday.
There's no rules, so you can do whatever you want.
We love it. I mean, it's great out here and takes me back. Pond skating is, something that, you dream of and you love getting out here.
First responders say that if you do skate outside for safety reasons here, the ice should be at least 4 inches thick. The way to determine that really is to drill into the ice, use a measuring tape, ideally, to make sure it's safe.
There you go. Or go to a skating rink where you know it's safe, Kellyanne.
Yeah, it's whatever you want to do, though, as far as those winter activities. The weather yesterday really favorable for that, as we did see a nice snowfall in the area. We're waking up to a snowpack for most of the area. But with temperatures climbing above freezing today with sun and getting a little closer to 40 tomorrow, we will see a good amount of melting. Our next cold blast arriving in the middle of the work week. It's by this time next Sunday that we're moving into what's considered the coldest time of the year. On average, our lowest temperature of the year is around 29.3. We see that between January 19th to January 27th on average. So it's not your imagination. It's cold. We're down into the teens for a few spots. Bedford at 14 and Orange at 18 degrees. Low to mid 20s in and around Boston. Upper 20s to near 30 over Cape Cod, where clouds moved in overnight and they're still around this morning. It feels like it's down to 6 in Bedford, but for most locations, wind chill factors are in the teens. So there is a chill, but the wind is slowly calming down this morning. Earlier, we had wind gusts approaching 20 miles per hour. We're now seeing wind speeds between 5 to 15 miles per hour, and the wind gusts have calmed considerably. And that calming effect will continue into the afternoon. So with a calmer afternoon wind, high temperatures reaching toward the mid to upper 30s, even near 40 in spots, and sun. That is all going to work together to help with that melting process. You can see it with our 12-hour forecast in Boston. We are all clear for today. Sunshine prevails until clouds move in later tonight. But that's not the case everywhere. We are watching this northwest wind flowing over the water, and as is very normal for us, we get these ocean effect clouds that develop, and it's something that's developing this morning. You can see how it's just barely clipping portions of the South Shore and the tip of Cape Ann, but it's actually thickest over Cape Cod, and that's usually what we see with this kind of pattern. So we do expect as we travel through this morning, the clouds to remain a little thicker over Cape Cod through at least the early afternoon. You may see some clouds still around at the tip of Cape Ann and portions of the South Shore, but it looks like the thickest of the clouds over Cape Cod, and that actually starts to push out to sea as we move toward late this afternoon. Then the rest of us get in on the clouds overnight. This is a widespread cloud deck moving in. As we move toward a mostly cloudy sky for the overnight, our temperatures still manage to fall down below freezing and into the 20s. So you have to watch. Anything that melts during the day will refreeze tomorrow morning. Slick spots in the morning, it's something to watch for. But again, in the afternoon, we're warming up, highs approaching 40 degrees. Our next chance for some snow here is with this cold front that arrives late tomorrow night. That's our next blast of cold air. A few flurries can't be ruled out. And it's something we're watching into Tuesday too, on and off. We dry out, but really get cold heading into Wednesday with highs struggling to get out of the 20s. Our next little warm up arrives by next weekend. For Storm Team 5, I'm meteorologist Ann Cicalese.
Now, here's Josh Brigadier with Sports Center.
And in this morning's 5 for Good, Erica Tarantel introduces us to 2 Great Danes who, along with their owners, are doing a lot of good.
So what you doing today?
We're visiting you guys.
A special visit like this one happens nearly every other week at New England Village in Pembroke. Adults in programs here just love snuggle sessions with Jersey and her big sister Star.
She's 5 years old, born on the 4th of July.
Stacy and Dennis DeRoche, their owners, their
Jersey and Star really are gentle giants. They tip the scale at around 110 pounds each. That's actually petite for Great Danes. Erica Tarantel, WCVB News Center 5.
They're just perfect.
I know, it's almost like a pony walking in the room. They're huge, but they are so cute. I can imagine that would be just so nice.
Doing good
Stress
work,
release.
Too. There you go. 8:22. It may not be baseball weather,
but the Red Sox are already prepping for the start of another season. The team's special celebration with their fans at a snow-covered Fenway Park. Let's take a live look outside on this Sunday morning. Roads are dry at this point, but of course the snow is hanging around. We are going to warm up a little bit today, though. We'll be back after this.
Let's get you live outside on this Sunday morning. It is 8:25 and it is chilly out there in Boston as we are seeing the Charles River frozen over here with some snowpack on top. In Boston, we got 1.8 inches of snowfall. Many of us waking up to some fresh snowpack, and it is feeling cold as we're down in the low to mid 20s. Here at the WCVB studio in Needham, we're at 21 degrees. We have Dedham at 20. 15 as you're heading out toward Acton. We're seeing many spots in the 20s this morning with a wind chill factor in the teens. The wind did pick up overnight, but it calms down this afternoon. As we approach the upper 30s to just about 40, it will feel pretty mild. Sunshine prevails in Boston, but it's not the case everywhere. At the tip of Cape Ann and also moving down toward South Shore, Cape Cod, we have some ocean effect clouds that are passing through.
Jack Smith resigning from the DOJ, the continued fight to release his final report on President-elect Trump.
And also ahead, young men pushing their bodies to extremes. It's more common than you think, and the results can be deadly.
So there are very serious consequences that can happen when you are, finding your social media feed filled with these images that are just quite simply not realistic.
What parents need to know about Generation Flex. That's coming up. For now, take a live look outside over Worcester, where it is a chilly 24 degrees. We'll be back after this.
News Center 5 Eye Opener.
After kicking off the weekend with snow, timing a small warm-up and our next chance for a few flakes.
Millions of people still threatened by the wildfires raging in California. The help pouring in from thousands of miles away.
And special counsel Jack Smith resigning, what it means for his investigations into President-elect Donald Trump. Taking a live look outside at 8:30 here. You see the Charles River is frozen over in spots and has a fresh coating of snow on it. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Jennifer Egan.
And I'm Rondella Richardson with Kelly Ann Cicalese. Went out to get the mail yesterday and just took a turn and said, everything looks so beautiful with the little flurries all over the place.
Sure, the fresh coating of snow too, really helping to create a beautiful winter scene.
Yes.
Really feels like winter out there this morning. Snow on the ground, there's a chill to the air for sure. We have a few spots down in the teens still, orange at 18 degrees. We have Bedford checking in at 14. But at this point, most of us are in the 20s. Not that it's much warmer, but we are starting to see some improvements here in terms of our wind. The wind is calming down slowly this morning. So our feel-like temperatures are mainly in the teens to low 20s, the exception being Bedford, with a wind chill of 6. As the wind continues to calm through this afternoon, high temperatures that approach the upper 30s will feel mild. We have sun in place for most locations, and that's going to help with the melting process after all of that snow that fell yesterday. We have ocean effect clouds at the immediate tip of Cape Ann, and that's covering portions of the South Shore, more so down toward Cape Cod. We're watching that trying to push offshore as we move toward the afternoon, but then another batch of clouds move in from the west, and this is going to cover our skies tonight into portions of our day tomorrow. We're also timing a few evening snowflakes tomorrow. That timeline ahead. Rondella.
Air tankers dropping flame retardant over the fires in LA. The full-scale firefighting effort.
At least 10,000 structures have burned to the ground since the fires began.
And the Eye Opener's Brianna Borghi is live in Charlestown with more on the fires and the local efforts to help people who lost everything in LA. Good morning, Brianna.
Good morning, Rondella and Jen. People here in Massachusetts are doing what they can to help. Meanwhile, millions of people in California remain on edge as these wildfires continue to burn. Nearly 10 million people across Southern California, along with Prima and Waverly Kitchen, they're offering a charity cocktail called the Sunset Spritz, and a portion of the proceeds from those drinks will go to the California Community Foundation's Wildlife Recovery Fund. We're live in Charlestown. Brianna Borghi, WCVB News Center 5.
Brianna, thank you. If you would like to help those impacted by the fires, you can donate directly to the American Red Cross. Homelessness laws are back up for debate now. The bills outlaw camping and loitering is resigning from the Justice Department just over a week before President-elect Donald Trump takes office.
And Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco joining us live now. So, Jackie, what does this departure mean for Smith's investigation into Trump?
Well, Jennifer, Rondella, Special Counsel Jack Smith's quiet resignation really marks the end of an unprecedented legal.
Minister of Greenland says his country has no intention of becoming an American territory, but he is willing to talk to President-elect Donald Trump about the future of the island. Trump has expressed interest in a
warm up in store for us today, despite the pretty cold start we have out there this morning. I'll have a look at the best spots as far as getting close to the 40-degree mark and the chance for some light snow passing through. Let's get outside this morning. Speaking of snow, we had
pushing their bodies to extremes and putting their lives in danger.
It is a very real risk for more and more young men. Our Jessica Brown is here with the new push to shed light on this troubling trend.
When you're a little boy, you are always flexing and...
At the production of the documentary.
You're looking to fit in, right? You're not just looking at the kid across the road or the kid in your class. You're comparing yourselves to kids around the world on social media. And you're like, hey, why don't I look like that?
They say the problem is more than just the videos targeting kids. It's also influencers and ads promoting products that may do more harm than good.
I did not know that kids knew about these crazy products. The fact that supplements are unregulated by the FDA, especially if you're buying it just sort of online and you don't know who's making it.
If you want to build muscle faster,
boys and young men are quite literally being stalked through their phones by algorithms of social media that are designed to grab their attention, suck them in.
Dr. Bryn Austin, featured in the documentary, is a researcher specializing in adolescent young adult medicine at Boston Children's. She says the content kids are seeing on their phones is no accident.
There are many people out there trying to make money off of making boys feel bad about their bodies. We estimated that these social media platforms are raking in nearly $11 billion every year from children online, and that's just in the U.S.
And the next thing I remember is like me sitting down in the bathroom with paramedics around me.
The documentary introduces us to one 18-year-old who was so dehydrated and malnourished, he blacked out in a school bathroom and nearly died.
So there are very serious consequences that can happen when you're ingesting things that you don't know what's in them.
Who do you want to watch this?
I mean, I think it's critical that parents and kids watch this film together, just because there are different elements of the film that will hit them differently.
As a mother, for me, I realized in making this film, you know, they live in this whole different world that we can't access. And we can't actually access it unless we talk to them.
I think a lot of people think about the cover of Men's Health. They think about, you know, muscles and fit men. And I think a lot of people are curious as to why you wanted to deep dive on this topic especially.
Yeah, I mean, where does Men's Health get off telling anybody about healthy body image? There's certainly been chapters in our history where there have maybe been unrealistic expectations and promises made. This film is pro-fitness, it is pro-working out, it is pro-eating healthfully. But what it does is it tries to educate the audience about what is healthy, what is safe, and what is sustainable.
There was a push last year in Massachusetts to ban the sale of dangerous diet pills and muscle-building supplements to minors, but the bill never made it out of the Ways and Means Committee. There are plans to refile it this session. Right now, New York is the only state that has passed a ban on those products to anyone under the age of 18. I'm Jessica Brown, WCVB News Center 5.
8:45, take a live look at Worcester. We got a little blue skies, but I think it's the snow on the rooftop that really catches your attention. And we have some sunny skies for everybody today, Kellyanne?
Looks
good.
Temperatures warming into the upper 30s today. I mean, it doesn't sound very warm, but that's actually warm enough for some melting. Yeah, I think we'll take every degree we can get at this point, right? We're starting off at 14 in Bedford right now, 20 as you head out toward Manchester, mid-20s in Boston, and a little bit warmer down toward Cape Cod. As I mentioned, they had some clouds move in overnight, and so that actually kept them a little warmer overnight. So that's why we're a little closer to 30, heading down toward the mid to outer Cape. It feels like it's down in the teens for most locations. Bedford is our cold spot this morning with a wind chill of only 6, but you can see otherwise wind chills are in the upper teens, low 20s. And the good news here is that the wind is not quite as gusty as it was earlier this morning. We're seeing some progress here. We're now seeing wind speeds generally below 10 miles per hour outside of Cape Cod, where it is still a little stronger. We are in the mid to upper 30s this afternoon. There will be a few warm spots in the Merrimack Valley that get closer to the upper 30s. You can see Portsmouth even up to 38, and hot spots like Norwood up to 40 degrees. This is plenty warm enough for that melting to get underway here for this afternoon. Sunshine in place too. And you can see how our 12-hour forecast does keep that sun around for Boston right on through the rest of this afternoon. Initially clear tonight, but we will see some clouds, pretty widespread clouds, move in during the overnight. So let's talk about these clouds right now. It's mainly confined to the tip of Cape Ann. As you move down from the South Shore, I would say from Scituate down toward the Cape Cod Canal, and then more so over Cape and Islands, where we're seeing the thickest of clouds this morning. And it's going to be more stubborn over the Cape and Islands, that northwest wind producing these ocean effect clouds. As we progress through the late morning into the afternoon, it tries to shift out to sea. I do think you'll see some breaks of sun even on Cape Cod by late this afternoon, right before sunset. But you can see how there's still a broken cloud deck even over the tip of Cape Ann. Then we get into widespread clouds overnight into tomorrow morning, and that will keep us with a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow, more clouds than sun, unfortunately. And eventually we're watching for another cold blast heading into tomorrow night. So clouds return tonight. We drop down into the 20s. Watch for any melting during the day today, refreezing overnight. Tomorrow, nearing 40 degrees for most spots, especially in eastern Massachusetts. So a slight warm up and a short-lived warm up. This next cold front moving through on Monday night will bring in another cold blast, and some signs of that cold blast here with some snow flurries flying through, I would say between 6 to about midnight tomorrow night. Then we're watching again on Tuesday for a few flakes passing through. Don't think we're going to see anything actually sticking in southern New England, but if you're a skier or snowboarder, or if you just love the mountains, you'll notice a nice fresh coating of snow here up as we move into the northern mountains. As we move from Monday into Wednesday, could see an additional 1 to 3 inches for the tallest peaks. Let's get you back locally. We move toward a cool down here. We're down to the 20s for Wednesday, our coldest day of the week.
but moderating by next weekend. And with that, we'll be tracking a potential for some rain and perhaps even some snow for areas northwest. Jennifer.
Kellyanne, thank you. The Tulsa Race Massacre was a coordinated military-style attack. That's according to a new federal report
in Charlestown, and it doesn't stop there. Yesterday, we told you about a Boston-based clothing company shipping out jeans and T-shirts, and there's another group providing support to women in Los Angeles who are suffering from breast cancer, so certainly a lot of support coming from the East Coast. For now, we're live in Charlestown. Brianna Borghi, WCVB News Center 5.
Brianna, thank you. Kellyanne, final check of the forecast.
My goodness, that's a wintry scene behind Brianna this morning. We have a fresh snowpack, a chill to the air this morning, but look at these afternoon highs. We're approaching the mid to upper 30s, and some of us getting a little closer to 40. Sunshine prevails for most spots. Some of the immediate coastline dealing with these ocean effect clouds. We all get into the clouds overnight tonight, and you'll see those clouds around at times tomorrow. Watch, there's a shot of cold air moving in tomorrow night. So even though we hit 40 in the afternoon, we're back to the icebox here for Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday. Our next warm-up approaches next weekend.
Oh, the teens at the night's temperatures.
Yes, and you know, Thursday morning will likely feel like the single digits, so that's probably going to be our coldest morning this week.
Okay.
Lay out your stuff now.
Yes,
for Thursday.
be ready. All the layers, come back.
Snow pants, yeah.
I got it. We got it down. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back here at 10 a.m.
This